Hi everyone, welcome to Early Years Matters TV. If you're looking for tips on how to spoon feed a baby, then this video is for you. Do make sure you watch it to the end. Hi everyone, today I'm going to be giving 3 easy steps or tips in relation to how to spoon feed a baby. I know sometimes it's a little bit difficult and challenging for nursing parents to spoon feed their babies, especially from transiting from breastfeeding into spoon feeding. I know it is sometimes challenging and difficult, okay? So I'm going to be giving 3 easy steps on how you could go about this in relation to spoon feeding your babies, okay? So step 1. Okay, so the first step is you have to watch carefully. Okay, so you have to check out for IQ from your child. Okay, so it's all about patience. If you want to transit from breastfeeding into spoon feeding, it requires a lot of patience between you and your child. Okay, so you have to watch out for cues from your child. Okay, you need to carefully watch out for cues from your child. Okay, so the first way how to go about it is gently, okay, and carefully put the spoon onto the child's lip. Okay, so you're not going to straight away put the food into the child's mouth. Okay, so you start by putting the food into the lip of the child, like I'm displaying. Okay, so you put the spoon into the lip of the child, okay, and then carefully the child will be able to smell it. So the child will smell the food, and then the child will open his or her mouth, and then you as the parents or as the guardian or as the nanny or child care worker, you'll be able to put the food into the child's mouth. Okay, so as you can see, it's a gradual process. You're not just going to put the food into the child's mouth straight away. The child needs to smell. Okay, I'm going to cite an example. For example, as an adult, when you're preparing a meal, you would smell your meal. Okay, you know what you're cooking. Sometimes when you're cooking, you smell the soup or the stew and this is I can smell it. So the same thing with children as well, and bear this in mind, these children are just transiting from breastfeeding into spoon feeding, so it's going to require a lot of time. The child needs to be used to spoon feeding. Okay, so like I said, so the first step to go about this is you place the spoon, okay, or the food into the lip of the child, not just straight into the mouth of the child. So you put the spoon into the lip of the child, okay, and then you let the child smell. So when the child smells the food, and then the child will gradually open his or her mouth. That's why I said you need to watch out for the cues from the child. Okay, so when you put the spoon into the lip of the child, okay, the child will smell the food, and then the child will gradually open his or her mouth, and then you can put the food in the spoon into the child's mouth. Okay, so that's step 1. Do take note of this. Okay, step 2, I'm going to say to you to avoid power struggle. Okay, it's not easy. You have to avoid power struggle. I've seen sometimes, parents want their babies to eat and they're forcing the food into the child's mouth. It's not going to work like that, and that's why you see sometimes you see the child vomit or bring out the food. So the step 2 is you need to avoid power struggle. And how can you avoid power struggle? You can avoid power struggle by feeding the child 1 or 2 spoons at a time. Okay, so you let the child take the first spoon into their mouth, give them the time to chew, give them the time to digest the food before you introduce the second spoon, and so on. This is very important. I know the first time, especially parents, you want to spoon feed your child and you're just rushing it. You can't do that. It's not going to work like that, and that's why I said you need to avoid power struggle. So feed your child 1 or 2 spoons at a time. Give the child the time to digest this meal before you introduce another spoon. This is really important, and also bear this in mind. It is your first time introducing spoon feeding to the child, or you've tried it many times, it doesn't work out. So it's all about timing, and you as the adult as well, you need to be patient. Okay, when you want to introduce spoon feeding to a child, it requires patience, and do avoid power struggle. Okay, sometimes you see the child, maybe you put the spoon into the child's mouth, the child will give you the cues. Sometimes you see babies, they nod their head like this. That means they don't want it. So you take your time again, give it a 1 or 2 minutes, and then you introduce it again. You put it into the lip of the child, let the child smell it, and it's going to work. So do not do it this way, like the child doesn't want it, and then you're saying open your mouth, open your mouth. You're forcing the food into the mouth, the child's mouth. It's not going to work like that. So avoid power struggle. Give the child 1 or 2 spoons at a time. Give the child the time to digest, to chew this food before you introduce another spoon. Okay? Okay, so step 3, which is the last step. Okay? So the last step is you need to let the baby play with the spoon after each meal. Okay, it is very important. You let the baby play with the spoon after each meal. And why do you have to do that? So that the child will get used to the spoon. Okay, like I said earlier, it might be the first time or the few times you're introducing spoon feeding, and the child needs to get used to it. Okay, so it's just, for example, when you buy a toy for a child first time, the first few weeks the child would love to hold on to the toy, they would like to play with the toy. The same thing as well when you're introducing spoon feeding. Okay, so let the child be used to the spoon. Give the child to play with the spoon after each meal, and you can also dip the spoon into puree. Okay, so dip the spoon into little puree and give the child to play with it. And straight away, babies, what would they do? They'll put the spoon into their mouth. Okay, so that process is getting the child to be used to spoon feeding. Okay, the child is going to chew the spoon. When the child is chewing the spoon, the child is getting used to the spoon. It's a new thing you're introducing to the child, and the child needs to be used to it. So the step 3 is, it's really important that after each meal, you rinse the spoon, or you dip it in little puree, and let the child play with the spoon. Let the child explore the spoon. When the child is playing with the spoon, the child is exploring the spoon, okay, getting used to the spoon. And by so doing, you will know that by the time next time you're feeding them, they will definitely be used to it. Okay, so these are just the 3 tips that I said I'd come out and share in relation to how to spoon feed a child. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and until I come your way next time, I still remain Early Years Matters TV. Do mind yourself and take care. Bye.